Jugaad is something like that. You can't go to the boardroom and say, I want to do this. Do not expect instant results. There is no 2-minute noodles here. This has to be a slow cooked meal. And if I were to use an Indian reference, it has to be a slow cooked dum biryani. Only then you get, really good results. You can't do a jugaad for biryani. Of course, instant food is available, but is it healthy is the point. So once data speaks, structure follows.
Hello, I'm Riddhi Attarde, lead-elect of the SWE Asian Connections Affinity Group. Welcome to Diverse, a SWE podcast. It's Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, and today we are celebrating conversation about Jugaad, a concept rooted in resourcefulness and frugal innovation. We'll dive into what Jugaad means, how it's perceived by the global Asian engineering community, and why it might be one of the most underrated engineering mindsets out there. Today, I'm joined by Vidya Prabhu, the lead of Asian Connections AG and Executive President of the Chennai affiliate. She's also the Associate Director, Chief of Staff, Digital Workplace Location Transformation Leader, and University Relations Champion at Kyndryl Solutions. We are also joined by Uma Veramani, who is a member of the AG and VP Strategy and Partnerships at Ideations Technology Solution, an AI-native digital transformation company based in Chennai. Uma and Vidya, welcome to Diverse.
Hi, Riddhi. Thanks for that lovely introduction. My journey in tech began with a degree in computer applications. So I spent several years as an engineer and a software developer. Today, I leverage that technical foundation to lead strategy in my firm, where we focus on helping enterprises move beyond adoption and drive real measurable impact through intelligent systems. I'm so thrilled to be here to discuss how the spirit of Jugaad has been a core part of my journey.
Hi everyone, Namaste, Vanakkam. This is Vidya Prabhu and I'm joining you from Chennai, which is a part of a state called Tamil Nadu in India. Thank you, Riddhi, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you to my friend Uma to agree to be with me on a podcast. I go everywhere and I take her along. That's one kind of Jugaad that I'm going to be talking about today. A little bit about my organization. I am with Kyndryl Solutions. We are the world's biggest startup and we are the world's #1 infrastructure services provider. In my capacity as Associate Director, I work as Chief of Staff to the Digital Workplace Services. I also do a couple of stretch roles that Riddhi talked about, including transformation, a little bit on D&I, a lot on university relations, and most importantly, what I do is Jugaad, and we'll talk a little bit about that as we move through in the podcast.
Thank you. So when people hear Jugaad, what do they usually think? Is it perceived as clear and clever and innovative? Or is it more of a risky workaround shortcut?
I see Jugaad as a clever innovation, in my opinion. It's the art of saving resources without compromising the outcome. So, for example, at Ideation Technology, where I work, we work with manufacturing companies that often have legacy systems. Instead of telling them to take everything out and spend millions on new hardware and software, we always use a Jugaad approach. We integrate the data they already have and build intelligent layers on top of it to get the results they need. To me, that's actually Jugaad mindset truly proving its value. What do you think, Vidya?
Thank you, Uma. Very beautifully put. I wouldn't say I'm at a loss for words, but I really would like to add my version to this. I think most of us would have been in a situation where we've solved a problem not because we had like the best of tools, we had technology that supported us, we had experience that came in handy, but because we refused to just give up. I think it's a very feminine trait. And in India, we formulated this word called Jugaad. And I think my version would be that it's creative problem solving and it's driven by constraint or challenges that help you work within certain parameters. And to me, Jugaad has never been about making do with something, but making it happen. And if I think Jugaad had a gender, it would definitely be a woman. Because multitasking, problem solving, negotiating we would do all of this throughout the day. And at the end of the day, I think I always go back home and ask, did everyone have your dinner? Do I need to do the dishes? Because I would have done some form of jugaad at work outside and some form of jugaad that I need to do for my next day, everyday life. So it's what women do when rules weren't designed for us, when the resources weren't enough, and quitting is never an option for us. I don't think in our race anyone gave us that option to quit and move on. And that's why we bought this concept of jugaad. But to answer to what Riddhi mentioned about, is it going to be risky? Is it short term, fix? What is it like? I think it's not about bypassing any standards. And I want to be very clear about that. It's advancing despite having limitations. So you need to be strategic. You're intentional. You're responsible. But at the same time, you're not careless. You're definitely not accidental. And to me, if you're not responsible, then you're just being reckless. And with all due respect to Riddhi, who's from Gen Z here, and everyone thinks that Gen Z is reckless, is careless and accidental. Trust me, I work with a lot of them, hundreds of thousands of them every year. They are none of that. Their style of jugaad is just like any other generation's is, which is being strategic, intentional, and responsible. So given what I have right now, what's the smartest possible next move? I think I see my son ask me that every day, an 18-year-old who says, okay, I only have this much. What am I going to do with it? So that's form of jugaad. And it's not that only women do it. It's just that we are better at it because we are so used to situational intelligence. I think two things that we have. One is emotional intelligence. The other one is SI, situational intelligence. And that's how we manage everything. And that's, I think, our jugaad formula.
I think just to add to it, I think we find innovative, creative solutions within that limitations, and limitations don't stop you from creating something. So as you said, every generation has its way of jugaad, and I too have two teenagers at home who are from the Gen Z, and I think they do come up with innovative solutions for the old problems as well. So I think we need to look at it as an approach and take the best out of it.
I love that take, especially the part and the analogy about jugaad should be a female if it were a gender. But also applying this back to STEM, how does jugaad show up in engineering environments? Like, what does it look like in practice? Could either of you walk us through an example for this?
See, Riddhi, I work in a digital transformation world, which is the hot topic going around in the world now, with AI native and AI coming into the picture. Even in this kind of situation, cost and time are the biggest barriers to any company. Everybody wants to get on the AI wagon, but cost is a big challenge. So instead of asking a company to make a massive, expensive change and wait months for results, people are willing to take a jugaad-inspired approach. Start with simple, high-impact changes that prove the value within a short period of time. See whether you can go or no go and make a decision like that, which is cheap, but it also solves the problem of delivering the outcome within the constraint of the budget and the timeline. So, for example, we worked with a chemical plant who was our client in the US, where the inspection process was entirely manual. You all know in a big chemical plant, the manual inspection will involve all these person walking around with all these colored forms. And of course, it was very slow and error prone, right? Instead of changing their entire operation, we suggested a simple solution of digitizing the forms. That's all we did. It was just a small proof of concept. In my opinion, it was a jugaad approach, like the Indian mentality, but it showed immediate results in terms of productivity and data accuracy, right? So that one clever change showed how transformation could really impact the data accuracy or the productivity. And it actually opened door for many other projects like that. So people need to see the value in what they do in a simple approach, and that helps them open up their mindset. And that's what I feel jugaad plays an important role in engineering.
So, on a different side of it, if, say, it is a structured company, how can they apply jugaad and embrace the mindset of jugaad while still working within established guidelines?
Okay, So I think all of us work in organizations that have their own structure, their own process, their own even DNA for that matter. Can you still practice Jugaad? Absolutely. But I do want to answer this very tactically, because this is like a very thin line difference between, like I mentioned before, being careless and experimental or being careful and calculative. Because what is key is our understanding that Jugaad, and I know Uma and I have mentioned this before, is not about breaking any rules. Okay, but I would like to say that it lives in the gray zone. So Jugaad shows up when someone says, the guidelines don't forbid you to do this. If it's going to help the business, let's pilot from here and then pivot. So you can't typically pivot to something without piloting. And I think Jugaad is one way to start a pilot, to experiment. And Uma touched on that very beautifully. So that's responsible creativity, calculated risk taking. And you see, it connects to what Uma mentioned about how risk can be structured in many ways. So in a structured environment, I think Jugaad works best when it is calculatively adopted. And I'd like to use the word incremental. You cannot jump from one place to the other using Jugaad. It has to be incremental, and I'd say safely incremental. You run a prototype, you maybe test with a small team, you find out the metrics, you will know whether this is going to work, not work. I'm sure anyone who comes with experience will know if something's going to work or will it crash. If something's going to crash because of your Jugaad approach, you don't have to drop it, but you definitely need to look at what are the other options that you would have and then document all your outcomes. Jugaad, in my version, in a structured organization, cannot be announced across the board. It's not something that you sit in the boardroom and say, I'm going to apply this Jugaad. Really sorry, your idea will get rejected. So Jugaad doesn't announce itself. You have to prove. And if you have to prove, and I think women do this really well in many ways at home, and a very casual example, I think at home when we want to sell one of our ideas, we don't go and announce it to everyone when everyone's seated at the dinner table. We strategically tackle each person individually. And I don't want to use the word manipulative, but we use the word strategic thinking and the emotional intelligence and the situational intelligence to be able to get the answer that we'd like in our favor, and then go about with the program and ensure that it's successful. For example, if I want to take a vacation with my family and I know which destination I'd like to go to, and I would have considered the weather, my vacation plan, my work, how much can I budget for it? Is it going to fit my 18-year-old son and my choosy husband and the luxurious me? I'm going to decide one particular spot and then convince everyone in the family individually and then get the answer that I want. Now, Jugaad is something like that. You can't go to the boardroom and say, I want to do this. Do not expect instant results. There is no 2-minute noodles here. This has to be a slow cooked meal. And if I were to use an Indian reference, it has to be a slow cooked dum biryani. Only then you get, really good results. You can't do a Jugaad for biryani. Of course, instant food is available, but is it healthy is the point. So once data speaks, structure follows. So again, start slow, do not announce, show results, start with an experimental small group. Take a group that is both ready to experiment, run calculated risk and has experience, and a little bit of the Gen Z flavor, which means that they are smart enough to bring about new solutions to old problems, like Uma said. And I think Jugaad really will work in a structured company that way.
To add to that, I think to go talk to the boardroom itself, you need to be confident that you have a MVP product, right? Most viable product. And for that, Jugaad could be a great way of creating that, experimenting and getting that confidence. Yes, this will work and we can go pitch for it. That also helps you be positive and convince the boardroom people to take it forward. In that sense, that will be a great move to prove your point, where you can use the Jugaad approach. And if you have to fail fast, that will be an easy way to learn your lesson.
To bring this into boardrooms, has it shaped how you think as engineers in general? Like Vidya gave an example of how it would be applied even in our day-to-day lives. How is it something that you bring into your leadership style consciously? Like, how do you bring it about naturally?
See, Riddhi, when I started my career as a software developer and a QA person. So for almost 10, 15 years of my journey, I was a software developer. And I often had to use these kind of quick fixes to keep projects moving. Not because I compromised the quality or anything, but we had to come up with quick fixes because we had tight deadlines. And sometimes it'll be a clever innovation and we will use it as a practice because you learn a lot of good solutions when you think like that. At that time, I thought it was just I was in a survival mode and that's how all developers live. But looking back, that was actually a big learning for me. And that was Jugaad in action, right? At that point, I didn't realize that. But when I moved into a strategy role running a digital transformation firm, I realized that quick fixes alone will not help us. We have to also have a plan forward to make it complete. The true magic happens when you treat Jugaad as a methodology to move fast, to prove that value, and then build something sustainable within the constraints of budget and timelines. What can you deliver which is cost effective, which is high quality, and still deliver the impactful results? So you're always thinking in that mindset. That is exactly how I incorporate Jugaad in my work. That quick thinking, that clever innovation, and that efficiency of solution and delivering impact within the constraints of cost and time. So always I tell my team to find that quick win, then build the roadmap around it, which satisfies both our clients and us. Because Jugaad helps you get started and the strategy takes you forward to deliver impactful results. Isn't that what we want to do for our customers? That is where the real adoption is, right? Because the client needs to feel that it is delivering impactful results. And that is a big win for us. And that's how I bring my Jugaad into everyday work.
Wow. Thank you, Ma. I know I'm going to sound repetitive, but I really like your answer because from a leadership level, I think Jugaad looks, even though we're talking about women here, it still looks a lot less dramatic and a lot more intentional. So like I mentioned before, we encourage experiments, but we are not reckless with any of the betting. Okay. So we are only going to try. We don't gamble the company. And we create safe spaces. I think like we mentioned before and touched on piloting and iterations. So even if we fail small, we learn fast, we pick ourselves up, and then we don't panic and we try and move forward. And we ask our teams why before embracing or enforcing the how. And most importantly, I think we still focus on the outcomes. What is the outcome for the client? What is the outcome for the organization? What is the outcome for the team over any of the rigid rule following? And the goal is always on progress and moving ahead and not just gold-plated, maybe paperwork. And let's talk about women for a second. I think for many women engineers, Jugaad is a daily practice where you're influencing, but you don't want to use your authority, very authoritatively. So you are almost in the iron fist and velvet glove approach, if I may say that. So you're solving problems without ideal support and still you're delivering high value impact. So like I said before, no drama, maybe no headlines, but just results. And this cannot be accidental. Like I mentioned before, it has to be intelligent and it has to be situational. So maybe adaptive intelligence, I'll use that term that Uma referred to earlier, which gets developed over a period of time. And while doing all of this, we continue to do multitasking because that's a ball that we never drop. So lastly, I think with reference to me, Jugaad and I, we grew up together, quite literally, like my twin. And what started as survival in the early years of my career or the early years of shaping my individual personality slowly turned into leadership wisdom, if I can say that, or leadership fix gap ability. Do I regret some decisions that I've taken? Of course. Did I commit mistakes? For sure. Did I learn? Damn well, yes. Did I survive? Yes, I did. Like, even the Himalayas or a war situation or even the COVID. So yes, it did shape me. It did give me a breaking the glass mindset. So that's the credit that I'd like to give Jugaad and how it has shaped me as an individual, as a leader, and as a person who believes in doing things that are right for the clients and for the company.
Just to add to your point, Vidya, you nailed it. As women engineer, I think we always have that expectation of proving ourselves all the time. And using these kind of methodologies, Jugaad really helps you come up with clear innovation, and it helps you stand out, right? So that also helps our agenda of proving ourselves and making us visible, I guess. So I think you nailed it. I don't have to add anything more, but I just thought as women, we need to prove ourselves all the time. I think Jugaad helps us go ahead and prove ourselves more, I guess.
I totally vote for that. Totally.
Yes.
That was really well put. Thank you to both of you. And this has been such a great discussion. And of course, we have many conversations like this all year long in the Asian Connections AG. For those listening and want to get more involved, can connect with us on Facebook or drop us a mail on the official SWE email ID. And thank you again to Uma and Vidya for this great discussion.
I want to thank the SWE Asian Affiliate Group, Riddhi and Vidya, for having me on this podcast. It's such a privilege to be part of a community that amplifies the voices of women in tech. So keep building, keep innovating, and never forget your Jugaad spirit.
Thank you so much, Uma, for being on. I know I just sent out like a two-liner on iMessage to you, not seeking your permission, but directly inviting you. Thank you for being here with us and sharing all your Jugaad experience. We're really, really privileged to have you as one of our speakers today. And Riddhi, my partner, I can't say in crime, but I will say my partner in fame. Thank you so much, Riddhi, for framing such beautiful questions and coming up with that topic. That's why you should have someone young on the team, because they come up with brilliant topics. And Jugaad was the best thing that we could talk about for this month. I would want to add that we will be bringing on some blogs that we're working on for the AG month. Do look out for that. And I would like all of you all to share any kind of feedback, reach out to us, connect with this group. And I'm sure all of us can continue building a beautiful community that is led by engineering women who are intelligent, emotionally, as well as from the heart. Thank you.
SWE offers over 20 affinity groups that are designed to bring together SWE members who share identities, interests, and goals. Membership in any SWE affinity group is open to all SWE members interested in participating. Visit affinitygroups.swe.org to see all affinity groups and join the ones that interest you. I'm Riddhi Atarde, and from all of us at SWE, thank you for listening.